Alright, we're live here from the Vancouver Public Library. My name is Chapin, and today I'm going to show you how to cover a video game song using FL Studio music production software. So, the first thing we have to do is pick a video game song. Now, for those that like playing video games, there's probably a nostalgic song that you can think of from when you were a kid. Conjures up memories of the games you used to play. Just one song can take you back. The song I think I'm going to do today is from Super Nintendo. Chrono Trigger. The song is called Corridors of Time. So maybe to start, maybe I'll just play that song. Alright, so I think you get the picture. It's a great song. I'm just looking at some comments here. It says this song is so layered. It's insane that he did this on the SNES, and even crazier that it's one of the many other excellent songs. So we're gonna try and break this down today. I might not have as much time as I want to get this entire thing done, so we might have to do this in parts, but we'll get as much as we can done today. So today at the public library, it snowed a foot last night, so staff had a hard time getting in, so they actually shut down early. I stayed behind just because I thought, you know what, this might be an opportunity to record a video. So quickly got set up here. First time doing it. So we're gonna dive into this song here, and it'll be spontaneous. It'll be going through the creative flow. We'll teach you how to use FL Studio, the basics, how to get started, what the workspace looks like, what your tools look like. We'll show you how to determine which key a song is in, determine its beats per minute, identify different parts of the songs. We're gonna probably import some plugins because it sounds like there's some complex instruments in that might not be as good in FL Studio, so we'll show you how to bring in outside instruments or plugins. Yeah, and plenty of other stuff as well. What I'm going to do first of all is open up the software. So this is FL Studio right here. And first thing we're going to do is just create a new project. So file, new, You'll notice here that I have a MIDI keyboard here hooked up. So if you have a MIDI device, F10 or MIDI settings, find it in the list once it's plugged in via USB, and then make sure it's enabled. Uh, it'll be enabled because when you hit the keys, one, you can hear it, and two, you can see the note up here playing. So this is enabled. For more information on that, you can go to our vpl.ca website and find our guides. So I'm just going to pull up the Inspiration Lab guides, and we have one on FL Studio and MIDI. Here it is. So I might be referencing this throughout. But here's a video on how to plug in your MIDI keyboard and get it set up. So I recommend that for sure if you're new. So back into the software, doing some live scene switching here. So there might be a couple glitches. Hopefully not. Hopefully this camera keeps running. It kept on shutting off earlier. So let's take a look at FL Studio here. So these are your instruments here. So you can easily add drums just by left clicking in here. You can delete them by right clicking. Start and stop with play and the stop button here. We'll talk more about the layout as we go. But first, we're gonna import an instrument. So let's go into packs and then instruments here. And I'm gonna put in a just a piano sound here, just something we have to play with, and we'll test out the MIDI keyboard, see if it works here. Okay, so it's working out okay. You don't have to be able to play keyboard to use FL Studio. You can program everything by hand. Never having played an instrument before, I happen to have messed around with the keyboard before, so I know a little bit, kind of play by ear. So we're gonna kind of break down the song together and just kind of figure it out as we go. So first of all, we need to figure out what the key is. So what I'm gonna do is go back to the web page here where we have the song. So let's figure out what the key is here. So what's that first note? It sounds like a D. If you listen carefully, let's play it back here. So sounds like it starts with that. So we could say that it's in the key of D. That seems to be where the main melody goes. We'll just listen to the melody bit a little further. Oh, and then you can see it changes there. It goes up a third to F sharp there, so. Okay, so that's the start here. It sounds like it starts on the D. Back to the D. And that sounds like it drops a semitone to a C sharp. So back to the third, the F sharp there. Cool, so that's a start. We're gonna try and find the beats per minute. So I'm gonna start by playing the song in the background, and then we're going to use something called a tap tempo. So right now the default beats per minute is 140. I'm guessing that's too fast, but I don't know. What I'm going to do is just set up a almost like a metronome with kicks here. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be too fast. So, couple ways to do this. One, you can just adjust it if you know what it is, or if you just kind of listen to it. Another way to do it is use something called a tap tempo. So when I tap here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was counting at 114 beats per minute. So what I'll do is listen to the song and kind of click my mouse to the beat of it, and then it will give us the tempo fairly accurately, I hope. We could try it a couple times just to make sure. So, okay, I'm going to play the song here. I'm going to tap to it. Okay, so it sounds like it's 111, between 111 and 110. So I'm going to leave it at 111 for now. And I'm just going to try and play my kicks. And I'll play them along with it to see if it sounds okay. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It sounds a bit fast, so I'm going to try 110. And 110 sounds a little slow, so I'm going to go 110 and a half. It sounds pretty good. I think that's good for me. Sounds pretty much dead on, 110 and a half. So that's our tempo. So we have determined the tempo of this song is 110.5. It starts off in the key of D, moves around a bit. So we're off to a good start. Okay, I apologize. My camera died. So we're going to analyze the song here. So right away, I'm picking up an introduction part here. It sounds like it's kind of like a Celesta instrument. And if you can hear kind of like the stereo, it sounds like there's a bit of an echo or a slap back, and it's kind of panning from one side to the other. So, okay, so that's the first instrument, but I'm hearing a second one here, and it sounds almost like you know, Asian or Indian style sitar. That's what it sounds like to me. And then you hear a choir coming in, kind of like a cheesy video game choir that has that sound of the early 90s. And it sounds like some kind of stringed instrument, maybe also a sitar. And there's kind of some choir hits in the background, some short stabs like, huh, huh. Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. FL Studio does have built-in instruments. I wanted to get something a little bit more authentic. So what I've done is quickly found a sitar and a Celesta online and downloaded them. So what I'm going to show you now is once you have downloaded a VST, these ones are free and safe to use. So what I'm going to do is go to Manage Plugins. Okay. So by default, FL Studio scans your computer and it has all these plugins which comprise of effects and musical instruments and I can't say the word, synthesizers and things of that nature. So what we're going to do is add a search pattern. So or search path. What I've done is I put these VSTs, some of my favorite ones, on the desktop. So I'm just gonna find this thing. Here's my VST folder. I'm just going to desktop here, VST folder. So the sitar one is in this Indian Dreams plugin, and then the Celesta one is in the Celesta plugin. So I'm just gonna search the whole folder. And then I'm gonna, now that I've added the search path, I'm gonna go find installed plugins. Okay. So it has found our Indian Dreams here, which has the sitar and also the Celesta. So this is great. Now, once we have that in the system here, we can add it by going to add more plugins, and then it was here. So just double click that. So here we have it, and I can try it out with my keyboard here. Remember, this is hooked up to the MIDI. So that sounds like a pretty good sitar to me. Let's try out the Celesta. So I'm gonna go more plugins, and then up to the Celesta. This is great. Double click it. Now it's not gonna play anything. I think I need to load in the instrument to it. So let's go to instrument list and VST folder Celesta. Here it is. It's a .msc file. Don't really know what that means, but I think it's like the data for this plugin to work. So now you can see it's loaded a Celesta. Now it should have some sounds. So that's a nice sounding Celesta. So we can work with that for sure. All right. So, okay. So far we have picked out a song, opened up FL Studio, figured out which key it's in. That was D, and it kind of jumps around a bit. And figured out the BPM, 110.5 beats per minute, whereabouts. We set that in FL Studio. Then we've listened to our song, and we kind of listened to it and identify some key parts, the Celesta, the sitar, and we've added those instruments in. So we are ready to start laying out our project, and then we're going to start recording some MIDI. So the first thing we're going to do is some organization. Now, it might not be the most exciting stuff, but it is essential to keep your project organized and it looks cool. So I'll just show you a cool thing here. First of all, we're back in the software here. Excuse me. So if we go into general settings, one thing you can do, the default theme looks pretty cool, but if you want, here's a little insider tip. You can change it to look dramatic. You know, that one's a little much on the eyes, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm just gonna use the default because most people are gonna identify with that. So the first thing we're gonna do is create a track. I'm gonna hit F2, but you can just double click on this as well or go plus. So I'm gonna call it Celesta. It seemed like there was multiple parts, so I'm gonna say -1. I'm gonna give it a color, so we're gonna use all our Celesta parts the same color. Let's go with a light red. No, I don't like red. Let's go with powder blue. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so then I'm gonna hit the check mark. You can also give it a label tag. We're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna hit check mark. Okay, So now our pattern is called that. So here's our Celesta. I can also color this the same just so it corresponds. FL Studio is broken up into songs and patterns. So a pattern is everything on here, and then a song is how you lay it out in here. It'll make more sense as we go along, but that's just a quick little definition here. So what I'm going to do now is give this track the same name and color as the pattern. So everything, you don't have to do this. You can put your track on, or your pattern on any track, but just to keep it organized, I'm going to always have it on the Celesta track. So we're ready to start recording some MIDI. So I'm going to open up a window called the piano roll. So I mentioned before that you don't actually have to play the piano to use this. So I'm just going to click now. So I can just add notes. These are called MIDI notes. So a few different things that MIDI does is tells you what note it is, how long the note is played for. So, you know, when it starts and when it releases, and then how hard it's played. So I can simulate this with my keyboard. If I play it hard, it's a bit louder. If I play it soft, it's very much different. Not only does it change the volume, it can also change the tenor and intensity of the sound depending on how the virtual instrument was sampled. So I can do all this stuff with my mouse, or I can play it with my keyboard. No, the thing is, when I'm playing it with my keyboard, it sounds good, but it's not actually showing up on the screen. So we actually have to hit a record button to make it do that. So what I'm going to do is click record. It's asking me what I want to record. We're not doing audio, which would be like an instrument or singing. We're doing MIDI notes. Okay, so I'm going to click on notes and automation. Okay. So let's just do a test recording. I'm going to put the countdown on. So what the countdown does is it gives us a bit of warning. Otherwise, I'm going to hit record and it's just going to start recording. I have no time to position my fingers. So the countdown is good, the 3, 2, 1. Also the metronome is good because it helps us play on time and keeps us organized and less mistakes that way. Okay, so let's do a test recording. I'm just going to hit play here. Okay, so it recorded that, and it's fairly on time. You can see it's fairly close to the grid. We're going to show you later on how to quantize it or line it up perfectly. Sometimes if it's a little bit off, it adds a bit more the human feel, but a lot of the video game songs were quite rigid, lined up on the grid, so we're going to kind of go for that aesthetic this time. Only thing is that's not the melody. That was just a test. So the first thing we need to do is figure out the melody. So there's multiple ways to do this. If it's a popular song, there's probably a YouTube tutorial on how to play it. There might be sheet music online. You can just monkey around with the notes until you find something that sounds similar. That's what we're gonna do. Just kind of organically figure out how to play it. Okay, so we're not recording right now, we're just figuring out what to play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's figure out what those first 5 notes are. So it's in a different octave. There's a button here that changes the octave of the keyboard. So if I'm hitting the same note, it's lower or higher. Of course, I can always just switch, but right now it's easier for me to just use this button. Okay, so I'm gonna listen to it again here. Okay, so it sounds like it's that. So that's a good start. So that was a D, F sharp, B, C sharp, F sharp. And then there's 3 notes after that. I think it's that, Two of those are repeated, F sharp, E, and then a C sharp. Actually, yeah, those three are all repeated, so that's easy. Oops. That's what it sounds like to me. I just want to listen to it to make sure that's right, though. Yeah, it does that thing at the end. That's how it kind of loops into the next part, so. All right, so I think we got that. That sounded pretty accurate to me. So what I'm going to do is go back into the software here, and I am going to record that. So I like recording in song mode. Works better. I'm going to hit play here, and then I'm going to try and play that without messing up too bad. So hit the play button. Here we go. Okay. Not bad. I think the second time was more accurate. Let's listen back to it. So I'm going to turn off the record button and hit play here. So let's see how it sounds. Okay, the second one definitely sounds better. I was fumbling on the first one. So I'm going to select that with the selection tool right here, left click, and then I'm going to hit the delete key on my keyboard. You might not be able to see that, but it's just the delete key on your, not the MIDI keyboard. Let's see if I can change the view here. On this keyboard, your regular computer keyboard. So I deleted that. The next thing I'm going to do is select this stuff and then select the draw tool. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is just make it on time. So, I mean, it wasn't bad, but as you can see, the notes are played a little bit of a different length. And if we zoom in here, they're probably like slightly off the grid. Yeah, grid lines here and the notes are there. So there's this function called quantize, which is really good. And basically fixes your mistakes for you. So that's really cool. So there's a quick quantize. Let's try that out, see if it works. If your performance is close, oftentimes the quick quantize works great. It lines it up to the grid. It made them all the same length. So I think that honestly did it. We didn't need to change any parameters. So let's just listen to it though. Wait, turn off that metronome. Okay, now that it's lined up, before we listen to it, let's just put it back into position here because we deleted the first portion of it. So we'll drag this to the beginning now. And then sounding pretty good to me. Let's just check it to make sure. Okay. So that's a good start. That's a good start. I mean, obviously there's some effects on there. We're not gonna go into effects yet. We're just gonna kind of record some of the basic parts before we get into any mixing here. So what's the next part we can add? So let's just listen to it. So I'm hearing a few things coming in there. One, the sitar is doing this walk down. Then the drums kind of come in. So the cool thing about this plugin here is it has multiple. Like here's the sitar. Here's another instrument. I think we could actually use this one, Vina. So I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna clone it a couple times. The cool thing is in here, there's multiple instruments in the same plugin, so this is great. We're gonna find a couple that we can use here. The first one I want it to be that sitar. That was good. Second one, Vina. I think we can use that. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna use it. Okay. Oh, that's not bad. We'll have to listen to it to see if that song actually has this, but I don't think so. Yes, this is what we're looking for, the percussion here, tabla. Yes, sounds authentic already. This is a cool thing. So you can see I'm just playing the keyboard here. What that looks like is, let's create a different pattern here. Unlike a normal instrument where it's just the tone changes, this drums don't have that many tones, so they have this sampled so that different parts of the octave are playing different samples. It's an entirely different sample, so that's really cool. Next thing we're gonna do is create a new track here. So we're gonna give it a name. Maybe we'll use this as the sitar, and we'll call this the down scale. Let's give it a color, purple maybe. Sweet. Let's open up our song here. Call this track that. We'll start to lay out our song here. So we notice that this seems to loop for a bit. So I'm going to use the paint tool here, and then I'm going to left click and start painting these. And then when I switch to song mode here, you're going to see, oops, it's going down the timeline. And you can see if I remove something or delete it, you can't hear anything. So let's go back and listen to this sitar on the song here. Oh, that's gonna be tricky. Obviously, I'm not used to playing that on the piano. Okay, so I'm hearing some major stereo reverb in there too for later when we're mixing. That's what it sounds like. Okay, so let's find our sitar on here. Open up the piano roll. I'm gonna switch to my keyboard. Let's see if we can find that song. So that's kind of a walk down. This is not the actual walk down. Let's listen to it again. So, you know, one way to just learn a track is just use your ear and just play the notes. And when you hear a note that matches, remember that. So it sounds like it starts on there. Let's listen to it again. So it's and not switch it back to song mode. I'm gonna paint more of these so we got it looping. 16 bars, that's great. Okay, so let's try and fit that in now. Right there. Listen to our song here. Okay, first of all, it's not coming in at the right time. Secondly, it's way too loud. So let's make our Celesta louder. There we go. I think honestly, it comes in, if I remember, now that I'm thinking of it, it comes in at the start of the measure. Let's try putting it at the start and then moving this to beat 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it starts in at 5 again. Let's try that. That's tough. I picked a tough song, my bad. Too fast. Let's try a third of a step here. Maybe. A little closer. I'm gonna try adding some reverb to it, honestly, just because it's sounding a little dry right now. So each instrument you can assign to a mixer track. So I'm assigning the sitar to mixer track 1. To open the mixer, we need to click right here or hit F9. So we can also label this if you're an organized type person. So let's go sitar and purple. Let's color this purple just so it corresponds. Sweet. So now that we have that, we can start to add effects. You can add up to 10 effects. It has also a built-in, I guess I should move my screen here so you can see that. Has up to 10 effects you can add here, and it also has a built-in equalizer. That's a little bit off the screen here. There we go. There's your EQ. So let's add in a reverb here and just see how it sounds. Sounds a little more airy. Let's try the biggest sound we can get, cathedral. Sounds big. I'm gonna add a bit of a delay just to see if we can get it to kind of multiplicate. Is that a word? Multiplicate? I'm gonna stick with that. So let's go 3 delay. Okay. Stereo effects. Let's try that preset. It's not quite what we're looking for. We can adjust some parameters. Let's try delay 3. See if that's any easier. Ping pong. Let's try that. Sounds alright, but it's like coming in at the wrong time. Let's see if we can find the time setting here. Yeah, let's see how it sounds in the song. Really loud. It needs to come down. Let's try that again. I mean, it's not perfect, but just for starting out, I think we can work with that for now. Okay, what's next? What can we add? Let's listen to it. Okay, I'm hearing some drums in there, so I'm gonna open up this one. Okay, I think that's getting close. So again, each note I hit has a different sound. Sounds something like that. I'm gonna listen to it again. Okay, it sounds like a pretty simple beat here, so sounds like it's going 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so let's create a new track here. I'm hitting F4. It's not working. I'm hitting the plus button. And call this our tabla. Let's give it a yellow color. Enter. Here we go. So here's our song now. Let's create a little recording patch. And something like that. I want to hear the song again. I'm not that familiar with the song. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's on the second beat. 1, 2. Dun, 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 dun. So it's like might be easier to visualize if I just program this in. So it's a C6. And the second measure. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try 2 and 4. That works. So I'm going to start looping this so I can hear it. Something like that. That's here again. I think that's it. Of course, it doesn't come in till the sitar does. Okay. Okay. See what else we can add to this. Okay, it's really missing that choir, so I have also found a VSC for the choir. So I'm going to go into more plugins. And the one I found was called Sonatina Choir. It was a free one online. And you may have noticed earlier, but I also scanned for this. So I'm going to double click it. And I'll try it out on my keyboard here. It sounds a bit dry. I think there is a reverb setting right in here. So let's just try that out. That's really too much. Actually, that's not reverb, that's release. It's holding on. So we'll have to add the reverb later. That sounds pretty good. So I'll change the release a bit here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to it again, try and pick out the chords, and practice it, and then record it. Da, da. So it sounds like an F sharp. So let me see. F. Tricky. So it's definitely, those are the core notes. So that's a F sharp, E, C sharp. Oh, I think that's it. So what even is that? It's like an F sharp with the 5 on the bottom. So this is the F sharp. Normally the chord would be, but we're playing that last note on the bottom and then playing the first note, the 1, higher. Oops. Oh man, yeah, that's it. So what I'm going to do is set up our choir track. I should point out that mistakes is kind of part of this. So unless you're like 100% musician or you know every note to begin with, we're going with the trial and error method here. So right, here we go. So let's listen to this and just kind of jam along with it. Okay, so I don't know if it's perfect, but it's a cover. It's supposed to be interpretation, so here we go. Okay, didn't like that take. So one way to undo the take is go edit, undo recorded items, or Control Z. That sounded odd to me. Let's listen to it back. This bass note needs to be a bit higher. Barely touch it. So if I double click on it, I can change the velocity, or I can do it from down here, but this is a bit more precise. Let's try quantizing it. So before I do that, a little insider tip, I want to switch it back to the default. I think it was beat. Gonna adjust these notes, lengthening them so they all match. Let's hear that. There's something missing there. Let's try a little delay. Oh, yes. It's getting there. It's getting there. Amazing. one thing I'm hearing right now is like a really pronounced bass line that I'm totally missing. Let's try and go into the bass here. See if there is a string acoustic bass. Maybe that'll work. Whoa, it's low. Oh, looks like my computer is about to sign off. So I better save it. I guess we're gonna have to call it here for the night. But hey guys, thanks for coming. And we're gonna continue this up in part two. This was a test, first time, new cameras, first time actually officially covering a song, and especially first time capturing it. So thanks for bearing with me. There's a few tech difficulties, but we're getting there. Let's hear it one last time, real quick. Computer's gonna shut off in 2 minutes, so